Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Top Cut Pod. I'm your host, Juan Lucas, and joined by my amazing co host and co worker, Lucas Ward. How are you doing today, Lucas?
Nice. Pretty good, pretty good. How are you?
I am pretty good. Finally, officially done my undergrad. I had my last exam Saturday, so I'm so happy to be done. My
Hmm.
undergrad, happy to move on, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, you might be sad on the last day of your last exam." I was so happy to leave that campus. Obviously, I won't name the campus, but I was over it. 4 years, tough school, tough program, but it was still a very enjoyable time. But I'm very happy to just be done with all of that.
Yeah.
How are you?
It is a good feeling.
How was the
For
school year
sure.
been treating you?
Pretty good. Um, Midterms just passed, so that was a lot of work writing report cards and stuff, but um other than that, same as normal. No, nothing crazy going on. Um, yeah, pretty good. That's all I really have to say. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so today, unfortunately, with the last challenge results, Lucas wasn't able to run the challenge, and I wasn't there. So unfortunately, me and Lucas are both a bit in the blind with the results because weren't able to keep the deck list. But I do want to give just a quick shout out to everyone who did show up for the last tournament right before rotation. And yeah, just looking forward to another year of rotation, or like another year, a new block, and just very excited to see what people are going to be cooking up our local scene. I haven't been able to talk with many people, but I know some regulars like Julian and John have been kind of talking about different decks they want to try out. I know we have a lot of regulars who their deck of choice definitely either disappeared or weakened post rotation. So I'm excited to see what people are going to be bringing to the next challenge. I think it's going to be really exciting. And then the cup, I think, is going to be exciting because from what I've been seeing, at least like on Twitter, cups seem to be going crazy. Like I think a lot of people are going to cups.
They're busy. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of cool decks I've seen on the timeline, like different variations of like Dragapult, different variations of. I think I saw someone won it 1-1 with Festival Lead, so it was definitely like a lot of cool decks to play out there.
Festival Eight's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
It's great. I when it came out, I was like, oh, this is just a meme deck. It's gonna be a meme deck forever, and now it's actually like it's a good deck
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, exactly. Now it's like, oh, being able to knock out Mega Pokemon is is for a single prizer is pretty good. Being able to not
Hmm.
let Dragapult spread is pretty good. So a lot of
Yeah.
exciting things with rotation. I think the first week felt like people really weren't talking about it. And I think once Cups got going, that's kind of what
Mhm.
happens. People kind of start getting a bit more excited for the rotation. Now, that's actually going to be a theme of this episode in lieu of today of talking about results, which unfortunately we don't have. We're going to be talking about what Lucas and I respectively are playing for the new format. Um, Full disclosure, I have built like 8 decks, but I think the three that I chose are just the three I've had the most fun with.
Mhm.
And also just the three that yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Um, and yeah, we'll talk about our decks. We each picked 3 for today, and we'll be including the deck list that we've been kind of using. It might change from the time the episode comes out, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So, Lucas, how about you go ahead and kick things off? Just run me
Sure.
through what you've been playing, how you've been feeling about it, and maybe any changes you might make or how you're feeling about it in the format.
Yeah. So the deck that I've been playing in person to a lot of cups lately is Diancie Dusknoir. It's a lot of fun. My main thought process of like why I was taking it to cups is it's good into Dragapult, and Dragapult is everywhere right now. So that was my main thought process of why I wanted to play this deck. Dusknoir is also just fun to play. Probably not fun to play against me when I'm playing the deck, but it's fun to use for sure. So has a good Dragapult matchup, and that was really all I thought about. Then once I started bringing it to cups, I realized that it also has really bad matchups. So the like maybe the next two most popular decks in the meta, Garchomp and Zoroark, it has really bad matchups into. So
Ooh, yeah.
that sucked. So I took it to three cups, and I believe at all of them I either went like I had a positive record, so like 3-2, 3-3, stuff like that, which was good. But That's not my goal when I go to Cups. My goal is to get top 8. My goal is to win. So I'm switching to Dragapult. That is the next deck that I want to talk about. But I'll let you say your first deck. Or
Yeah.
actually, sorry, no. I'll talk more about my Diancie Dusknoir list. So I had been switching between two versions of the deck, one with Prime Catcher and one with Secret Box. I started with the Prime Catcher build just because I thought Alakazam was going to be a lot more popular than it was. So I had a Flutter Mane in the deck. So to get rid of their Psyduck, Flutter Mane Prime Catcher up their Psyduck, so then I can pop all my Dusknoirs. But like that's a great play if you can pull it off. But one of the things the deck struggled with was consistency. So I changed to Secret Box, and it that of course helped. Secret Box is a very good consistency card to have in decks. Your Stadium in the deck, so Mystery Garden is the main way you draw cards. So being able to find that, you also need the Power Glass, so you get the tool with Secret Box. So overall, I think Secret Box was better, but I am not going to play the deck anymore, so maybe it's not that good. But yeah, those were the two things I was switching between. But I don't really have any thoughts for what I would change now, just because I've switched.
That's where,
Yeah,
yeah. I guess like,
that's all I have to say.
oh, it's interesting because I haven't been able
Yeah.
to play that. Finally, I'm done my undergrad, so I will play a bit more during the summer.
Mhm.
But is Enzor and Garchomp like that popular at Cups? Because I've been noticing, like, I
Yeah.
know that Garchomp has been really fun. That's a deck I've been on for like a while. I've talked about it on podcasts for a bit, but I
Mhm.
didn't realize was it, like how popular would you say like Enzor and Garchomp are?
Zorark is probably the second, like, second most popular deck at tournaments. So over the last 2 weekends, I went to 3 cups. So every cup I went to, I played against Zorark. And then I think 2 of the 3 I played against a Garchomp. There was probably like at least 2 or 3 people playing Garchomp at each cup. And then maybe like 4 to 6, maybe even more playing Zorark
Oh wow,
at
okay.
each cup. So it is very popular. I don't know if that's a thing in other areas, but in the GTA, Zorark is very popular just because it's what people are playing to deal with Dragapult. It has a good Dragapult matchup, so it's either people are playing Dragapult or they're playing to beat Dragapult. So they choose Zorark most of the time. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, and then okay, so the Zarok matchup because it one shots right, or like the
It can one shot the Diancie. I need to pop a Dusclops or a Dusknoir on a Zorak to one shot it because Diancie's capped at 240.
okay.
Um, so I'm giving up a prize card to knock out a 2 prizer, but they can just one shot my 3 prizer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
it's just it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely not a great trade. And then to Garchomp, same thing.
Garchomp, it
Yeah,
just has too much HP.
yeah,
It's just like having 400 HP on the stage two prizer is just it's too much to deal
true.
with.
Plus you hit it, and
Because
if they have
even if you Dusknoir hit it, like it still doesn't knock it out. So
oh my god, yeah, because it'd still be 370 if you got right. Yeah, if you
yeah,
got
so
if
like
you
it
got
just
Duskmore 370 still hit. Yeah, you just can't do anything about it.
and then you can't pop Dusknoirs on the Roseraids. Roseraids have 130, but they also have power weights on them. So then
Yeah,
you can't kill the Roseraids with Dusknoir. So then it's really bad. That's
uh,
probably the worst matchup. It's just if they get a single Gabite, I beat one, and I just because I item locked him and I didn't let him get a Gabite. That was the only way I could think of to beat that deck. But other than that, it's a lost cause.
yeah, no, it's a tough. Yeah, that is a tough matchup.
Mm.
Actually, it's so interesting about that up because I don't have a any real like understanding of the meta. So it's pretty cool to see like Garchomp's actually as big as like it seems online. Because I know a lot
Mm.
of people have been talking about online. I know Rahul already has been very adamant about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see what. Yeah, it just makes me excited to play Pokemon again because it's like I get to go in person and
Mm-hmm.
see what kind of people are cooking up in our local meta. Okay, so my first deck, I have the cards here because I already have them all built. I've had them built for a long time because I've been testing. Mega Absol Box, kind of
Mm-hmm.
ish, and also Slot Box. Right as I started, so the reason I have so many deck builds is just I like playing Pokemon. Like if I don't have the time to go out to a cup or a challenge, I will be at home and I'll be playtesting like with myself. I find it like pretty fun, and I find it gets me like actually more prepared than like playing on the ladder. Plus, it's
Yeah.
like, well, like I guess your main job isn't so much screen focused, but how our jobs are very screen focused. So
Oh, yeah,
after
for sure.
so after a day of work, I definitely just want to chill out and not have to look at so many screens. So I've been playing a lot in person just with myself. So the first deck is
Mhm.
Magapsel Box. Megapsol lost so many pieces to rotation. It lost
Yes.
Arvin. It lost Turbo Energizer. With a lack of hand disruption in the format, Precious Trolley is just not worth the A spec.
Hmm.
Just because then you're gonna play a lot of counts of Judge, and that really doesn't help like at all. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, it is a very similar to kind of like last rotation where Terra Box kind of was like really popular in Japan and everyone's like, oh, this is gonna be the best deck in the format. I think it's very similar with a little less hype, I would say. The list I'm using, just kind of one I found online. I haven't really changed it, but it's been very fun. Like just having two copies of every Pokemon, two copies of my Kangaskhan, Fairy, you have two Latias, two Meowth. I do have a Wellspring Ogerpon as kind of my Dragapult counter for early game, just because it's really hard to set up the Mega Absol box if you are going first and get item locks. Sometimes I find that it's a bit easier to set up the Wellspring, and also it's kind of just worth more. You're able to wipe out two Dracoloaks off the
Right.
board most of the time. Cyrano is kind of your new Precious Trolley. Being able to get
Yep.
like a bunch of your basics out on the board is really fun.
Hmm.
Um, Teal Mask is your draw supporter, and then now, which I've always thought the deck should have played this many of, but also I didn't play the deck a lot. It does play 4 Energy Switch, which actually makes it very versatile to do a bunch of different things in certain situations. The
Hmm.
Lilies Flare, obviously for Dragapult one shots, also for against Mega Lucario. Which have you seen a lot of Mega Lucario like at your cups, or has it been kind of a
It's
lot?
at Cups, but it doesn't do well. I don't think it's as good as people thought it was.
Interesting, very interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mega Lilies Flare also for the Mega Lucario. Mega Absol,
Hmm.
I mean, it's a great attacker. Terminal Period is a lot easier to set up with the 4 energy switches and with the Crispins. So
Hmm.
it's a lot easier to get that set up. And the Claw of Darkness, a broken attack, 200 damage, and I get a rip a card from my opponent's hand.
Right.
I've play tested games, and I win like that. Also, Kangaskhan is honestly a attacker you can set up too, which has been really fun. I think the list, if I'm not mistaken, I play a couple Wally's Compassion too. So when you're in a pinch,
Cool. Yeah.
you just find a Meowth. With the Meowth, you get out your Wally's Compassion. Wally's Compassion, it heals, or you try to get some energy switches to get off your main Pokemon, so you can heal the Pokemon. So that's been really fun to kind of like every once in a while. It hasn't worked out super consistently, so I might cut them. But every once in a while,
Hmm.
I'm able to get a pretty good amount of energies on the board with Teal Mask and have a couple energy switches in hand, where I'm able to
Hmm.
Wally's Compassion, attach Energy Stress, Energy Switch. So then I'm attacking again with a
Yep.
full HP Mega Absol or Mega Kangaskhan. Um, but I think honestly, my favorite part of the deck is just how many Pokemon there are. Like again, two Mega Kangaskhan. I'm playing two Meowth, one copy of Bloodmore Saluna, Pheasantipity, Petarant. In case you need the mobility. So there's a lot of things going on, but I really like it. It's kind of
Hmm.
a breath of fresh air from other decks, I would say. I still definitely have to get better at it because even when I'm playtesting against myself, I realize like I make a lot of misplays just because
Right.
it's a lot more complicated than other decks. I would say there's a lot more lines you
Hmm.
can see, and I think that this set gets punished really heavily for like simply playing the wrong Pokemon. Again, Dragapult's the best deck in the format, so anything that can get one shot by Dragapult, you're risking just losing two prize cards really easily. So you have to be really, you have to think about it a lot when you're putting your Latias in play, when you're putting your all of your Teal Masks in play. So the matchup's pretty tough, but also I probably just have to get better at the Mega Absol Box deck. But for the most part, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And I don't know, I've always really liked Crispin as a card. That was like my main
Yeah.
engine I used in my first copy of my Dragapult list when I brought it to Toronto back in 2024. So I just like Crispin, so being able to play a deck with Crispin is also pretty cool. And yeah, I just the area depth zero to have like a huge bench is also really fun. So I think there's a lot of things you can do, but
Mhm.
definitely I've played a couple of times with the Mega Lucario. The matchup's pretty tough because you're really limited in what you can play because you can't really play Mega Kangaskhan because that's just giving the
Right.
free three prizes. It's so much easier for them to when it KO you. They just need a couple of premium
Mhm.
power pros, which the new latest post rotation are playing four of, three of. So it is a little tough against Lucario, but pretty good into a lot of other things just because, again, you have the versatility. Like Enzor, because the matchup I tested a bit, seems pretty good because they can't really knock anything out if you are just playing Kangaskhan. I might experiment seeing if like maybe Jumbo Ice Creams and cutting some other Pokemon would be a bit more
Yep.
fun. But the deck is very different from what it used to be. It's really fun. Not inconsistent, I would say, but definitely the toughest deck of all the eight I have built.
Right.
It is the hardest one. I just find myself consistently just misplaying when I'm like, oh, why would I attach here for turn when like attaching?
Right.
Well, like in a couple of turns, I'm like, oh, if I attached to this Pokemon instead of this Pokemon, the board state would be so different. But it's really
Yeah.
fun. We'll definitely am going to keep trying to get better at it. I do think probably going forward, the slot box it just seems a bit better and a bit more consistent than having Mega Absol and kind of like forcing Mega Absol into it. But I really like the Pokemon and I really like the attack, so I think I'm gonna try forcing it as much as I
Okay.
can.
Sweet.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Um, I have not played a single game with that deck. I when Absol was out like and doing really well last format, I just in my head I was like I've heard it's a really complicated deck. I don't want to learn a new deck right now, so I just stayed away from it. But I played against it a lot. I lost to it a lot, so I know it's good. But I've also watched like specifically with Slotbox, like a lot of streams of like the Champions League. I
mm-hmm.
think you brought up specifically. So it looks very strong for sure. Being able to actually use the Terra Orb just to search for all the different Ogre Pawns in the deck. I thought that card was going to be so good when it got released, and then nobody used it. So now seeing it actually get uses is pretty cool.
And I have so many of like the
Um,
hollows, so maybe I'll start playing it too.
yeah, I have so many prize pack for Terra Orbs. Yeah. But yeah. Um, I'll talk about my second deck.
Yeah.
So I brought up Garchomp when I was talking about Diancie. I haven't actually played it in person, but the next deck that I'm going to talk about is Garchomp. Just because I know how strong it is, as I kind of talked about a bit when I was talking about Diancie. Um, I've talked to a few people about it, and we've kind of come to the conclusion it's a very simple deck.
Yeah.
It's very linear. You do one thing, you set up a Garchomp, you set up Rose Raids, and you just swing. But that's not a bad thing. It has 400 HP. If you have a power weight on it, that is very hard to knock out right now. Unless you're playing against the the many grass decks that are going around in the format. So very strong, hits for a lot of damage. It can knock pretty much anything out because you have the premium power pros, you have the rose raids to boost the damage. So whatever is in the active spot on the other side, it's gonna get knocked out by Garchomp. And then again, it's just hard to knock it out back. Then if you punch into Garchomp, have Spiritomb to switch, so then you have a really powerful single prize attacker that can hit for tons of damage. It hits for however much you got hit by, it hits by more than that. So just that's kind of, I guess, really the only special. I don't know if special is the right word, but different attacker in the deck. Like what makes it not so linear is you do technically have two attackers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so very strong. Also, it's very consistent. You get one Gabite, and you're kind of set up for the whole game because you get Gabite for Gabite for Gabite, and then you just set up your whole board in one turn, which is really cool to do. I love doing that. Um, so very strong deck. Just about a little about what I'm playing. I don't think I'm playing anything special. Secret Box is the A spec that I'm using. Um, the stadiums, I don't know for sure if I like them. The ones I'm playing, I'm playing Battle Cages. just because it is very important to have a stadium, just because stadiums are very powerful right now, especially against the worst matchups that Garchomp has, Forest of Vitality. You need to get rid of that. So being like having stadiums in the deck, being able to find stadiums to get rid of the Forest of Vitality is very good. And then of course your tools, the power weights give you 70 HP, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. So being able to find those is very important. And then of course item supporter. Great cards, like always. Um, yeah, nothing special about my list. It's fun. If I want to turn my brain off for a little bit, play Pokemon, I play Garchomp. Um, and not to say if you play Garchomp, I'm not saying you don't think, but you think less than when you play Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I think
Uh,
it's a lot more linear.
yeah, exactly.
But I actually, speaking of the Garchomp, one of my favorite plays to do because like yeah, the grass matchups are horrible. They're so bad.
Mhm.
Just because you always have to make sure you have the 2 energy on the Garchomp to attack, which is a bit harder this format just because if they knock out one of your Garchomps and you don't have the second energy ready, you aren't able to really get that attack in.
Mhm.
But something I really like doing is using their Force of Vitality before I bump it. So being able to like set up
To
another
get the
Roserade.
Roserade.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Being able to set up another
That's fun.
Roserade. And sometimes it's like happened where it's like I've been able to one hit KO with the first attack. Just because I have I
Mhm.
have 3 Roserades set up and then I'm able to find the Premier Power Pro. So that's been
Yeah.
really fun. No, I've been on Garchomp. Like I've been a believer of Garchomp for like a while. I think
Oh yeah,
the
I forgot about that. Yes.
the
You
first
played for
thing
a long time.
yeah, the first thing I ever won in regards to Pokemon was the summer challenges of like last year at Top Shelf, and I won with Garchomp. So it definitely
Mhm.
has been a deck that's been on my radar for a long, long time. I think I'm just still finding out how to make the list feel a bit better because sometimes it definitely does feel like break or nothing right now
Mhm.
because it's so linear, which is like I think is a really good thing. It makes it a lot
Right.
matchups easier. But then the
Mhm.
moment you whiff like a bite for 1 turn, whiff like a bite for 2 turns, even though you're playing 4 Pokepad,
Mhm.
um, it still hurts a lot. So that's it.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of non games I've found with Garchomp. You again with my playtesting here,
Mhm.
I've like been doing like some playtesting, and there's like I want to say 25% of the games of Garchomp are just non games or
Mhm.
the energy attachment gets a little rough where it's like in the late game
Right.
I'm whiffing the energy attachments. I don't have energies just because recovery got a lot weaker, obviously with Super Rod leaving the format. Um,
Oh, I didn't talk about the new special energy,
oh yeah, Rocky Energy.
which is very good in Garchomps, especially because of Alakazam.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say. Just because that if you get enough of those attached to a Garchomp, you just win.
that's true. Yeah,
So
exactly. You can just one hit KO
um,
them. So yeah, that's very true. But yeah, I
yeah,
think
you can KO them. They can't do anything to you because it
yeah.
stops effects of attack. Hmm.
Well, that's very true. Yeah. So that's definitely like one of the better matchups. So, and I mean, honestly,
Hmm.
I've always thought this: the Dragapult matchup and the Garchomp is like you walk them, not completely walk them, but Dragapult definitely has a bit of a harder
Yeah.
time. They hit once, that's 260 on the board. If you have 2 or 3 Rosers hit up, Spirit Tomb. If they knock it out, Night Stretcher,
Right.
Spirit Tomb again. The free retreat on the
Hmm.
Garchomp is ridiculous. It makes your prize mapping so much easier. If you're playing against we'll talk a bit more about later. If you're playing against the Dustmar, every single if one you can use Psyduck, two if they pop some Dustmars, it's so much more resources they're committing for you
Hmm.
to kind of be able to attack into it. So um, definitely want to experiment more because I do like having the Monkey Dory in the list, but then it feels really clunky with the Monkey Dory. But there's so many instances
Right.
where without the Monkey Dory, that's the original list I won with last year. Without the Monkey Dory, I'm like, oh, all I need is 30 damage, and I would win.
Hmm.
But it's hard. It's really
Right.
clunky with the Monkey Dory. But no, Garchomp's a really sick list, and I'm very excited that
Hmm.
people are actually playing it. Uh, that makes me really happy.
Good.
Anything else
Good.
you want to say about it?
I think that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking, you mentioned it very briefly. Speaking about the things that are maybe keeping Garchomp and Zoroark a bit more in check is the amount of grass energy and grass type decks are going around. The next deck is Mega Venusaur. I know people
Hmm.
are on Arboloa. I like the deck. I've tried it out. I really like Bulbasaur. It is my second favorite Pokemon. So the fact that I can play a somewhat competitive list, especially in the local scene, where if three people show up with Garchomp, three people show up with Enzoroark, and two people show up with Dragapult, I'm feeling quite good. I think all the
Yeah,
matchups are pretty. One, there's Enzoroark matchup is not honestly pretty free. Um,
it's pretty yeah, it's pretty
you
free.
set up one Mega Venusaur with the Meganium with two energies. Even if they knock out the Meganium, if you have the Teal Mask to draw, you can just move the energies onto the Mega Venusaur.
Mhm.
You can use Wally, and if you have the Meganium set up, you just need to draw twice with the Teal Mask, and all of a sudden, the attacker that already has 380 damage is one-shotting Zoroark with 240. As you said
Mhm.
before, the massive HP of Garchomp is a huge hurdle. That's no problem for Mega Venusaur.
Yep.
240. And my favorite thing is the tech I use, the Regigigas, that does 320 to
Yeah.
knock out Dragapults. My favorite play of all time is them doing a board wipe where they've committed two or three and they don't have a second Dragapult on the way. And I just use Max Rod, get all the energies I need, get the Meganium, get the Force of Vitality in play, and boom, Mega Regigigas knocking them out, and usually they can't respond. It's a
Mhm.
really fun deck. I think, especially like every single time I run to an Enzorg on the ladder, I just like smile. I'm like, oh, another win. Um,
Mhm.
I think rotation has helped it quite a bit. I think honestly, it's pretty linear. I think it's a lot more linear than people think it is. Um, with
Do you play the
Pokepads,
Genesect
I do
in your
not play the
list?
Genesect. So the Genesect I do
Okay.
opt of. So Genesect does I think 20 damage for every energy attached on the Pokemon to for like sniping. I did
Mhm.
try it out. I just it's so much energy commitment, and again with Super Rod out of the format, and you do sometimes
Fair.
need those night stretchers to make sure you're getting your evolution Pokemon because Ultra Ball. Pokepet's really good, but for
Mhm.
Mega Venusaur you do need the Ultra Ball. So a lot of
Right.
the times I've noticed I'm like discarding energy to get the Ultra Ball for the Mega Venusaur. So what
Right.
happens is that the Genesect I've realized you can load it up like once or twice, but if you can't overwhelm them and they knock it out, you're then a really tough spot because
Mhm.
there's also I could probably add a couple Team Rockets Patrol, but there's no good way to really find the Max Rod, so you're kind of just hoping you're drawn to it most of the time.
Mhm.
Um, just because like it's kind of just hard to justify having something like Patrol, Team Rocket Patrol, or having Colossus Tenacity. These would be good cards in the deck, but it's really hard to justify having them because then you lose consistency either
Yeah.
through like boss. Like boss is really important in this deck. The amount of games you just win on boss because people have Pheasantipity. Like if Minnesota knocks out
Mhm.
Pheasantipity, they have something Terror on their bench, and you have Ray Gig set up. They knocks it out. So boss is really important in the deck. I also play a copy of Meowth in the deck, which is like I know it's cringe, but the amount of times I've been able to go Meowth boss for game
Oh
with
yeah.
this deck is I feel higher than other decks because the amount of damage you have to your disposal is just so high.
Was that a SIR Meowth that
Oh
you
no,
just saw?
it's a proxy one. If I had the actual SIR
Oh,
Meowth, I
okay. No,
would.
okay, okay.
You know, these are proxies. I wish.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to pull a normal one. I had to buy. I only have one copy.
Right.
It is in my Mega Lucario deck, but no, I'm living vicariously by printing off copies of the SIR Meowth for all the
Yeah.
ones.
I had to buy both of my Meowths. I've opened so much perfect order, but I haven't even pulled the base Meowth.
Me
So
too. Me
I
too.
bought two full art ones. I splurged a little bit there, $30, but
Oh,
worth it. They're pretty.
no, they're
So
yeah. It's a deck. It's a card that everyone's gonna use. We could like yeah,
yeah, exactly.
everyone's gonna use the card. So no, it's a really fun deck, but it's really hard to justify getting adding cards that would find Max Rod because then you're cutting out
Mhm.
lilies. Like this deck, if Garchomp is 25%, you're not playing the game. This deck is like 50. Honestly, sometimes feels like 60% of the time you're not playing the game. The amount of times I've started Regigigas and I'm just like, oh cool,
Right.
this thing
Yeah.
has full retreat. Even if I get my
Mhm.
game set up, if they don't have it, if it's not a Terra deck, which Terra decks aren't really popular anymore, mainly because the biggest one is Dragapult, Charizard rotated, all the other big Terra
Yep.
users kind of rotated. Um,
Mhm.
if I don't, if I start Regigigas, that's gonna be active for a while. If my opponent starts item
Right.
locking me, I am kind of just cooked. So
Yeah.
I would say honest, maybe not 50, 60, but like 40% genuinely does feel like I'm not playing the game. Um,
Right.
PokePads has made the deck a lot better though, for sure. And Wally's Compassion has made the deck better. But there's still a lot of two prize liabilities again with Meowth boss in the form Meowth for boss in the format.
Hmm.
Um, it's there's a lot tougher to get your teal mask in play, and I've also noted it's just like lack of healing options too is really hard. I've been thinking of maybe adding some Fennel in the deck because I know people have been playing that in decks like
Fennel is
Festival
the
Lead.
healing one, right?
Yeah, heal 40 damage to all of your
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Okay.
So I've been thinking of maybe adding some Fennel in the deck. But again, the list, the best way I can describe it, feels very delicate. It feels very delicate. Anything time you move something, it feels like your consistency just drops by like 12 fold. Um,
Gotcha.
but still really fun. And again, with Garchomp and Enzoric, if a lot of people are playing that, these are just walks. Like if even if they like it's
Right.
they're just walks. Because yeah,
Hmm.
you avoid their biggest threat. Dragon Bolt's a bit tougher, but if you can set up and play well, and you get the Wise Compassion, and you can avoid, and they whiff boss a couple times, it's
Right.
definitely doable. Um,
Hmm.
I think the best way I can describe this deck is that there's like a couple great matchups, um, and then everything else is just okay. I think it comes down to skill difference, but
Right.
I think if equal level and let's say they're both able to play games, Dragapult players should beat Mega Venusaur player most of the time.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's I wish I could add like things like Jumbo Ice Cream to have some text in here. It's really hard to do it
Right.
without it falling apart. But it's my favorite Grass Boy, so it's gonna be a deck I'm probably gonna play locals a lot, like regular locals. I'm probably played a lot. But other than
Hmm.
that, you have a list that we're both playing, if we're both being honest, because I'm also playing quite a
Yes.
lot. We're just playing slightly different variations. But Lucas, talk to me about
I have it beside
Dragon
me.
Bolt. Oh my god. Hell
Dragon
yeah.
Ball. So that's the one deck I have beside me because I'm about to sleeve it up. So just straight Dragapult, no Dusknoir, no Blaziken. That's what I have been enjoying lately. It's as many people have said, it's the best deck in the
Yeah.
format. So I got tired of not doing well with Diancie, so now I'm gonna start playing Dragapult.
You can't beat them.
So
Join them.
exactly. So this deck is just it's I used to play like I have been playing Dragapult for a very long time. I played it a lot last format, but I never played just straight Dragapult. I always played Dragapult Dusknoir. But this I saw a list on Twitter and I really liked it. It's very similar to a lot of other Dragapult lists. It plays the Moltres, it plays Lily's Clefairy, it plays Maractus, it plays all these
I
techs
love
for
Marcus.
certain matchups. Yeah, it's very good. Um, so it just like being able to have like a specific card if you're playing up against a specific matchup that just not wins you the game, but like any grass deck I play against, just put Moltres up and I'm one-shotting Teal Masks. So for one fire energy, so that's pretty broken.
Yeah.
I've been winning games online with this deck without even using Dragapult. So
That's
like
insane.
I'll set up. Yeah, it's crazy. So like I'll be attacking with like Lily's Clefairy, Maractus, Moltres, just seeing if I'm forgetting any of the attackers in this deck. Ursaluna, um, Monkey Dory, just like random attackers in the deck. If you can't get a Dracloak or Dragapult set up, you have other options that you can set up in one turn. So it's awesome. I love like I to me it is a complex deck because there's so many different lines that you can take. It's so consistent because you have Dracloak to draw as many cards as you want in a turn. Um, so I just love how consistent it is. I have two Meowth in the deck, so it's
No
just
bricking.
if I need a
Liz,
if exactly if I need a supporter, I go get a supporter.
Liz determination.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's so consistent. It doesn't have any. It definitely has favored matchups, of course, but there's no like really awful matchup. I don't think, not that I've found yet. Like you can most of the time you can figure out a way to win each game.
Mm.
Um, but of course, again, like you are unfavored in some matchups, but there's ways around it, which I really like. Um, trying to think of, I don't think there's any like spice or anything in this deck. It's I play a Rosas in here. The Crispin's great. Unfair Stamp. I play like the three different types of energies, so three psychic, three fire, three dark.
Ooh, okay.
Um, so Crispin's great. You can always, I don't know if always is the right word, but like you have three of three different types of energies. Crispin is
A
it's
lot
gonna
more
do something every time
consistent
you
than
use
it
it.
used to be for sure.
Yeah. So being able to set up a Monkey Dory and attach to a Dragapult in a turn is really strong. You don't have Halucha anymore, but Monkey Dory kind of just does the trick. Trying to think. I don't. Do I even have any stadiums in this deck? Oh yeah, I have Area Zero.
Era Zero, yeah, that's a
Mm,
cool one. That's a cool one
Area
I've been seeing
Zero
everywhere.
is yeah. So it's just because like my main reason I like it is because I put Meowth on my bench so often.
Yeah,
So having Area Zero get the bigger bench, maybe they knock your Dragapult out, you get rid of Meowth. And there's just like you want so many things on your bench. Like you want Monkey Dories, some matchups you want Shaman, you want as many Dracloaks as possible, you want Meowth, you want Fez, you want Latias, like all of those things you want on your bench, but you can only have 5 bench Pokemon. So
yeah,
Area Zero just lets you kind of set up however you want to. And then even if you lose your Terra Pokemon, then there are things on your bench that you should be fine with discarding.
yeah. Like Meow 170 for two prizes. You want to get rid of that? No,
Yeah.
it sounds.
And like Latias is just good early game, so you can get rid of that late
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Um,
Honestly, no. The straight pill of Dragapult seems like that's been something I haven't really tried honestly, like straight pull like ever. Just because I've always really liked having the Duskmore builds. I've been playing a lot of the Duskmore builds, but I also am feeling like the like Pokepad for Duskmore, Rare Candy Dusk, like that is, it feels
yeah.
ridiculous to do.
Mhm.
Genuinely, like there's like games where I'm like playtesting here, and like I've won games where Dragapult's like two behind by two prize cards to six. Also, like Dragapult, like this type of Dragapult is a lot more familiar, like for me specifically. Again, what I played for Toronto in 2024, it's just like very similar to what I have, like heavy Crispin count, heavy rare candy count, being able to like in a pinch, if you are breaking, like being able to rare candy Crispin to a Dragapult from a Drapey because like you're having a tough time setting up. I think it's been like really fun to do. So it just reminds me a lot back of what I used to have. If only they could reprint Regal Kazam, then I think genuinely I would have so much fun in this format. But
Mhm.
it's just, I think a deck, one and foremost, I'm just most familiar with. I just know that deck really, really well. And two, it's just so much fun to do the damage manipulation with Duskmore, like you were saying
Yeah.
with Deancey. But I do think I want to give out the straight pull list a try, just because I do like. I've been saying this for forever, especially when Terror Box is really big, and like I didn't include the card in Toronto, but I think if I did, my last game would have gone so differently. Shaman is such an, I think, a necessary card in Dragapult. Like one
Yeah.
Wellspring at the beginning,
Especially right now. Like it
yeah,
is
like one
you need it.
Wellspring at the beginning of the game, you're not catching up. Um,
Hmm.
and if they're able to get multiple times, you're just never catching up. So I really do love that Shaman's being included. I love Maractus. Maractus has been such a cool like attack. I've always had Moltres, like as exactly what you're saying. So I definitely want to try this version of Dragapult. I've just been having a lot more fun with Duskmore. Or also maybe I'm a little lazy because they don't want to unsleeve half my deck. So there's also that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, Dragapult best deck in the format. But I just can't wait to see for results to see how impressive it is. Are we gonna go back to
Right.
Reggie Drago type of impressive? Because I remember Reggie Drago was really popular because of
Hmm.
Dragapult and Kyurem. I
Yeah.
know, but like I know Dragapult was the main one that people like were saying like, "Oh, this is broken." So we'll see.
Hmm.
That leads us to our last deck. Very, I want to say a lot of people have been saying is kind of like it seems to maybe not be the best. Maybe it was a bit of like a fake meta choice, kind of like what Terror Box felt like. But I think we'll have to see once we actually get bigger results in play. Is Alakazam better get used to counting how many cards you have in hand when you play this deck. Playing online is so easy because you're like, oh, it does the damage for me. I have 25. In
Yeah.
person, I'm, again, because I've been doing so much playtesting, I'm like, 1, 2, 3, okay, 6, 25, 25 card hand. And
Yeah.
I'm looking and I'm playing against like a Grimmsnarl deck that is dead drawing, and it's like this is ridiculous.
Hmm.
But for those who aren't familiar, the basic thing with Alakazam, you use the Dunsparce engine. Um, it draws 3 cards on its own, and you. The cool thing is just go back to your deck. Every single time you evolve from Abra from Kadabra or to Alakazam, when you're evolving into Kadabra, it's 2 prize cards. When it's Alakazam, it's 3 prize cards. I mean, not 3 prize cards, 3 cards that you're drawing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much draw engine, and for a single attack, I mean, for a single energy, you're placing 2 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon for every card you have in hand. It is ridiculously good, in my opinion. I definitely think Garchomp is something with Garchomp Lucario. The matchups can get really tough when they have the rock energy, um, because then, like you were saying, you one shot Alakazam really easily with both decks. You one shot it quite easily either with Premium Power Pro or with the Roserades. With everything else, it feels ridiculous. I think the reason this deck is so popular is because of how good it is in Dragapult. You play Battle Cages, so you try to stop Dragapult from attacking with Battle Cages. Sure, they knock out your Alakazam, but I think this deck is one of the few decks that makes really good use of Sacred Ash, which again, without Super Rod, Pokemon recovery is so much harder. It is so much worse in this format.
Hmm.
Um, so you're able to use it. The Psychic energy is also really, really good because if you start with Abra in the active, which usually you don't want to, or even if you just have Abra and you have this energy, you're able to set up your board even under item lock, which I think is really important. You're using 4 Hilda in this deck, so under item lock you can still find your Dunsparce to set up your attackers. Um, and it's an enriching energy. You attach your Dunsparce. You have when you're able to combo the piece, you have what feels like the most broken, well, absolutely disgusting ace spec in the format because you're just drawing 4 cards of 4 cards of the four
Yeah.
cards. Um, it has gotten ridiculous. Like there has been games I've been playing here, or I've been playing with some friends. Like I have a friend who he lives in the States, so every single time he just like he played Pokemon back when Chen Pao was a really good deck, and then Chen
Mhm.
Pao and then Palkia rotated, and he stopped playing because he was upset that Chen Pao wasn't good anymore.
Right.
Um, but he still plays every once in a while, so when I was playing against him, he was like getting really upset because he was like, "Why do you have 30 cards in your hand? This is ridiculous." And it is. It is quite ridiculous. Like this deck just
Hmm.
feels silly. Um, really good matchups into most of the fields, except like Mega Lucario and Garchomp are definitely the worst matchups. I would say if you aren't able to find your Psyduck, or if you're unable to find or your battle cages aren't able to stick, Dragapult does get tough, especially when they start getting rid of your dead end spars. And I have noticed sometimes it's really hard to chain the attackers, just because I think it's a skill issue or like getting better with the deck, where it's like you want to make sure you're not wasting your buddy poffins, or you're make sure you're keeping them because you need those repeatedly. The one of Sacred Ash is kind of all you need, but whiffing it really sucks. And there has been a lot of moments where
Right.
like I just whiff it and it's like, oh, okay, I lose the game because all I have is an Abra with 50 HP on it. If you have a Stadium
Right.
Bump or even just a Duskull, game's over.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of the bad thing. Also, like it's a little susceptible to item lock. So if you're playing against a more experienced Dragon Ball player, which I think like I've noticed this because of my own gameplay and watching others. I think the biggest mistake a lot of people use Dragon Ball is that they think that they have their opponent in a corner and they leave them out of item lock for a turn too early. I think
Right.
Alakazam, if you're able to make sure you keep the item lock precisely, you can slow it down tremendously. But
Hmm.
also, if you get lucky with Alakazam and you draw into 2 Kadabras, one to Dunsparce, the enriching energy, it kind of snowpiles into it not really mattering. But
Hmm.
overall, I think this is going to be the deck I'm going to play for the first challenge back, just because it's really
Yeah.
fun. Now everyone knows if they watch podcasts, which did have some people ask about it, so there's some insight.
Actually,
There's
had someone message me the other day. Do any of the top shelf locals play Alakazam? I'm
yeah,
like,
so it's like, well,
some, yes.
so now they know. So if they want, the only horrible thing, and I feel so silly about it, I should have 4 copies of the Dunsparce. But I remember in my journey when I was opening all these Journey Together packs to try to look for the IRs of Rock Scouting, I left a
Hmm.
bunch of bulk at regionals, which 110% had all the Dunsparce I need. So now I'm still looking
I
for like
actually just organized all my Dunsparce. I have them on my desk in a pile just because you asked about the Dunsparce, so I separated all my Dunsparces. I have.
I have so many dead Dunsparces. I don't know why
Oh,
this.
sorry, you said Dunsparce. Sorry, I thought you said
No,
Dunsparce.
no, 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 no. You're good. You're good. But I'm just saying, it's like I don't. It's like one of those cards where it's like, why does no one have it? Why is everyone who I ask, who's like, I
Yeah, like the
opened,
70 HP one.
yeah, I've opened so many packs together. I definitely have it. And they messaged me again, and obviously I'm very grateful that they looked in the first place. And they're like, actually, I don't
Mhm.
have any. And it's like, yeah, I don't understand what is it with this card. Um,
Yeah, there's
but
like
yeah,
and
good.
Zorua and Journey Together. A lot of people had a hard time finding those, even though it's a common, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, I would. Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people just couldn't find them.
Journey together. It's
Mhm.
just I don't know what's wrong with the set, but
Weird set.
yeah, weird set, weird set. But no, it's super fun. Um, I can't wait to play it. I think yeah, definitely will be maybe one of the first ones. Or maybe I'm lying and I'll go and I'll show up with Dragapult. Don't hate me, just because again, Dust or Dragapult. It just feels so.
There's gonna be so many people playing Dragapult.
I know it
Doesn't
just
matter.
feels so close to my roots. But then
Yeah.
they farm with Garchomp, and then actually the one person who plays Arbulova farms everyone, ends up winning the
Yeah.
challenge. I wonder if Julie, okay, Julie does watch the podcast because he did message me asking about it. Julian, I still have the fuller Arbeloa you gave me at regionals when you're upset that you kept pulling nothing from Destin Rivals. If you want it back, it's $20 now. I'm kidding. I
Are
don't
they
know.
actually 20? Are they
No,
20?
it
I
cannot.
honestly I wouldn't doubt
It
it, but
cannot be 20. Okay, let me see. Arbeloa
probably
EX
not 20. Probably 10.
full art price. Let's see. It is at. Let's say it's $6.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
It's like $6. But no, I'm not gonna use that card.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alakazam. That's the format, kind of. I think we kind of went through the biggest six, not biggest 6X, but I think really
Mhm.
interesting
There
decks.
are there are others, but we covered a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot. We can talk forever about decks, but
Mhm.
bottom line is Pokemon haters stay mad because they thought rotation was going to change anything. I think it did a lot. I think the game actually feels so much more fresh now.
I love it. It's so different.
Yeah, I think.
I am excited for a special red card to come out
Oh, I'm so
because
excited. Oh yeah, I can't wait.
that will make it better, but
Yeah,
it's fun right now.
yeah. The one Champions League that had it, it was like, oh, thank God, no one's playing unfair stamp.
Yeah.
Sorry to all my friends who bought unfair stamp at the prices of like $20-$25,
Oh yeah.
because
Got crazy.
in a couple months it's gonna be back to 10, 15. Um,
Hmm.
but no, I'm so excited. Pokemon's only getting better. But yeah, I think that's kind of it that we have today. We thought it was gonna be a shorter episode, but it ended up being normal length because I can't stop yapping about my favorite decks.
That's okay.
But
That's a good thing.
yeah, it's fun. Anything to shout out? I don't think so. Again, as always, um, if you want to stay a bit more up to date to what we do at the shop regards to Pokemon, make sure you join our Discord, which I'll be linking below. We just had a really, this is a quick shout out, but we had a really cool Riftbound event recently.
Very cool.
We had casters for our stream, so hopefully, no promises, no promises. Hopefully, we might be able to bring that to our next cup. I've been trying to convince people or have the power above us to see if we can do that. No promises, but um, yeah, if you're into other card games and TCGs and you somewhere watching this video, we have so much to offer. A lot of cool stuff. Pokemon, not
Yes.
only Pokemon's doing really cool right now, we have Magic the Gathering had a really cool set come out recently. Um, which, if you like Harry Potter, you're gonna like the set because it's basically Harry Potter but in the world of Magic the Gathering. So it is pretty cool. And yeah, as always,
That's lore. Wait, what's this set called?
that's
Not
Strixhaven.
lore.
Secrets of Strixhaven.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a really sorry for everyone who doesn't care about Magic. I'm gonna quickly explain this. It's a very popular, it's a very like anticipated and hype set because Magic has these things where they like printed a world or like a plane, which is like what all their things are called. They printed it like 20 years ago, so this is like a reprint set that has a lot of the expensive rare cards from the original set that's like 10, 15 years old. It's
Okay.
kind of like if Pokemon were to release all of a sudden like Pokemon XY generations again, and but like actually just have like one-to-one reprints of like I don't remember what was good back then, but like the good
Right.
cards.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Kind of like what they're doing for the anniversary set, but Magic has this for like normal sets. So pretty cool sets.
Okay, cool.
Cool events we're having, and our don't exactly remember our cups are coming up, but make sure you register for our cups. The playmats are so much
Yes.
cooler. Things are gonna be much more.
Yeah,
The things are gonna be so
I
much more
need one of
fresh.
those.
Yeah, so come up to our cups. You get if you win, you get to post your list on Twitter and feel pretty cool. If you lose, you can also
Yeah.
still post your list on Twitter. I've been seeing people do that, and that's one of my favorite things. When they're like,
Hmm.
"I've had too much wins on my timeline. I went 0-4 with my the
I
Dunsparce."
think I might have saw the same post as you.
I saw some tweet. And it was like a Garchomp list. It was really good. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's all for me. As always, thank you guys so much for watching,
Hmm.
and we'll see you guys next month. Thank you guys. Bye bye.